It was 7 a.m., and I was woken up by the sound of grinding. Heavy machinery, I thought, as I opened my bedroom window. What the heck is going on out there? I could hear shouting and see movement, but it was too early to tell what was happening. So I threw on a hoodie and went to investigate. As I stepped out into the crisp morning air, I noticed a long, ugly trench that stretched from the road all the way across my front yard. I stood there blinking, dumbfounded. A crew was digging like it was just another Tuesday, carving a muddy scar through my perfectly manicured lawn. No notice, no permission, no knock on the door, just a trench. So I walked over and flagged down the guy with the clipboard. "Excuse me, what exactly do you think you're doing on my property?" he said casually. "Oh, the HOA is installing new utility lines. It'll be done in a few days." He turned back to his work, whistling nonchalantly. No apology, no explanation. Just business as usual. Now, most people would have lost their minds at this point. And don't get me wrong, I was tempted, but instead of going full meltdown, I decided to play a little more creatively. I thanked him for installing the new landscaping feature. Then, after the crew packed up for the day, I went to work. I brought in several small but sturdy saplings, all native trees, with a high survival rate. I planted them carefully along the trench, filled it with water from my rain barrels, and scattered native grasses and flowers across the area. Then I sat back and watched as nature began to reclaim its own. Within a week, it looked less like a construction site and more like something out of a nature magazine, an oasis of green in a sea of gray concrete. Then came the fun part. I filed all the necessary paperwork with the local environmental board and had the area declared a protected wetland habitat. When the HOA came back to finish the installation a few days later, they were greeted with a bright yellow sign that read, "Protected wetland. Do not disturb violators. Subject to environmental fines." The look on their faces was priceless. They tried to argue, of course. They sent letters. They left angry voicemails. But legally, they couldn't touch it without going through a mountain of red tape and risking thousands in fines. So now, every time I step out onto my porch and look out at my tiny grove of trees, swaying in the breeze, I smile. They may have tried to dig a trench through my property, but I turned it into a forest. And that's the end of that.